Let's 10x your success with the secret sauce that will create your dream business. Here is a 7-point checklist that will make a difference in your life and in your business. And it's not your typical business advice. But before we start, I want to remind you that you can win a 25-minute audit with me for free if you leave a review to this podcast. Make sure you screenshot it and send me into my DMs or by email, and you will be entered to win the giveaway. So let's now talk about the 7 keys to 10x your success. It's the 7 business secrets that you probably never heard before that will for sure make a difference. But as I said, it's not your typical business advice. If you're feeling stuck and overwhelmed, like you don't know where to start fixing things, how to get back on track towards your most successful, fulfilling life, then hear me out. What I'm going to present to you in today's episode is a mix of the mistakes that I've made, what I've seen my clients and my friends make, the data that I collected along the last 5 years of running an online business, months and years of struggle with only one goal is to figure this shit out for myself, but also for all my girlies so we can thrive together. That is literally the whole point. I love to take myself as a little experiment so then I can come back to you, be like, this is the data I collected, this is the mistakes I've made, this is the thing that are working, this is what really makes a difference. So basically I took one for the team so that we can figure this shit out together and we can thrive together. I also took one for the team so that we can reach the next level of our success, fulfillment, income, dream life, embodiment with the less effort possible, with the less resistance. So you're welcome. I have struggled so that we don't have to struggle anymore. I have made a lot of mistakes. I have been so chaotic. I have been so lost and confused. I've been trying and figuring it out for long enough so that I can come to you and provide amazing advice from experience. So if you're in a place where you've been stagnant or in a place where you feel like everyone else has found the perfect strategy that works for them, but you haven't, then you're in the right place, because today we're going to see 7 things that you can do today. You can start addressing them today, and even if you tweak one of them, maybe you have some that you already do and you're already embodied in it, but maybe you have some you can work on or improve, or that will give you a different kind of perspective around it, and that will for sure make a difference. So go and try your experiment just like I do, and then come back and report to me how it goes. I want to start with the thing that you would probably least expect in that kind of podcast, with the first point. The first point is sensuality as a business strategy. And okay, let's not go there. We are not talking about just that, but if you're more essential and you bring that feminine sensuality into your business, what it does is that you create things from a regulated space, right? Sensuality is the ability to be present to life. And the only way to be present to life is to feel regulated. It also means that you're more receptive. So you're more tapped in, you're more inclined to receive downloads and to act with intuition. You're also just making better decisions because you're regulated. Some people do it through meditation, some people do it through journaling. You have different ways to do it. The thing with sensuality though is that it connects you to your feminine force. So if you want to run a feminine business, sensuality will be 10 times more impactful than journaling, meditation, breathwork, or those more masculine approach to personal development and wellness and regulation, right? So you want to regulate your nervous system so that you are a better leader, so that you make better decisions, so that when you work more efficiently. Because what happens when you're feeling overwhelmed, stuck, stagnant, and you just don't know where to start, you start to panic and you want to try it all. You listen to so many advice, you get so overwhelmed and so confused, and then you talk about your problems to your besties, to maybe your business coach, to a friend, and they all have different opinions and strategies, and you're still more confused and you're not regulated at all. But when you connect to your sensuality, you connect to that feminine force inside of you. And your sensuality is also located somewhere in your body, right? I believe it's a full body activation, obviously, but it is also located in your yoni. So all of your womb area, all of your pussy, like all this very feminine place that is also the center of creativity and your feminine intuition. So when you lead from that place, no matter which industry you're in, you will get more results because you're going to be tapped into a force of pure creation. This is also, sensuality is also like a first step towards a more sexual energy, and your sexual energy is the creative force. This is how we create babies. This is how we create life on earth. This is your life force energy. So it can be used outside of the bedroom so that it can power all of your projects, all of your desires, what you're claiming for yourself, but also just how you work. Like, I feel 10 times more productive when I take even 2 minutes, even 5 minutes, turning myself on, being in the mood, doing something like something sensual. You know, you can be meditating like a priest, like a monk in the forest by yourself, still with your spine straight, or you can be closing down your eyes, listening to one song that you love that gets you in the mood, and touch your body. And the effect on your nervous system would be 10 times more productive, more efficient. And I know it's kind of counterintuitive, right? Because you're thinking like nervous system regulation and sensuality is like the slowness and being super present. And then I'm talking about productivity, which is basically usually we have them like opposed to each other, but they aren't, because productivity is also being more tapped into that flow of creativity. The more you're creative, the more downloads you have. You can do things that would normally take 2 weeks if you had to sit down and force yourself to work, or you can be in that flow. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, because all of my clients, all of my friends that are entrepreneurs, we have that. Some days where we're completely dry and not creative, and some days where, I don't know, something strike and you're like pulling out your phone and you're typing like crazy because you have so many downloads, so many ideas, like everything makes sense, everything is clear. Sensuality is your doorway, it's your portal towards that. So I think this is really important. Not in a way of like just manifesting your desires. This is not really what I'm talking about here, even though you can also use your sensuality and your sexual energy in that manifestation kind of thing. But here it's more like using it as a strategy to be clear-minded, to be more productive, to be more connected to your best ideas and your best decisions. What happens when we are totally dysregulated? Lord knows I know what I'm talking about. When you're so dysregulated, when you're acting from this place of complete panic, then what tends to happen is that you make really bad decisions, really poor, like it affects your judgment. I have this rule with myself in my personal life that if I'm triggered, dysregulated, which means if I'm in a fight with someone and I'm feeling heavy emotions and I'm very pissed, very angry, or I'm really sad and I'm going through it and I'm crying, or I didn't sleep enough and I'm too tired, I have this rule with myself where I'm in it and I'm trying to find a solution and to fix it and to move to the next level. I'm like, I'm not allowed. I'm just not allowed to make any decision in that space. I'm only allowed to make decisions from a regulated space because I know the decisions are going to be 10 times better. Let's move to point number 2, which is taking action over perfect alignment. So I want us to reframe this thing that says, oh, you only take aligned action. Yes, ultimately, this is what we want. But as I said, I collected data. And sometimes for some people, for the ones that are very perfectionist and that love to have it, figure it out, that struggle to have this beginner mindset, and people that just want to do great things in the world and produce the highest quality possible, we tend to freeze when it comes to making actions because we don't want to make the wrong kind of actions. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to start. And so we don't start. Or worse than that, we feel like we're starting because we're doing so much in the back end, but nothing is actually coming through life. And I've talked a lot about this because this is a problem I've had for so many years and that I'm still like actively fighting every day of like, it doesn't matter if it's not the perfect aligned action, as long as I'm moving, as long as I'm in the action space, as long as I'm posting, showing up, creating, adjusting, analyzing, doing something that moves the needle forward, this is the most important. So you don't need to have the perfect alignment and for the star to align and your energy to be perfect before you act. I see it with some of my clients too. When they wanted to launch something, it was like their signature offers or a new program or a new service, completely different from what they were offering. And they were just waiting. They were just waiting for the energy to be perfect, for them to be in the right headspace. And I've done it too, so long, of like, people are going to feel my energy. People are going to feel that I'm not 100% embodied. People are going to feel that I'm not like 100% perfect. People are going to know that I'm human. People are going to know that I'm struggling. People are going to know. And I didn't want that. So I completely froze. This is a big mistake we can do, and we need to prioritize just taking action, because one action is going to lead you to the next, which is going to lead you to the next, which is going to lead you to the next. When I had this whole pause in my business with being pregnant and feeling so not like myself and so tired, and then giving birth in the first month of being a mom, I was not showing up to my business really, or I was just trying to keep it afloat and just post on Instagram random shit. And then I was like, okay, 2025, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to rebuild it from the ground up, and I'm going to take notes for my girlies. And this is exactly why I'm sharing all of that. I'm like, I was doing this for me, and I'm doing this for all of my friends, all of my girlies, and all of my clients, so that we can thrive. So I was like, I'm going to take notes of how I'm rebuilding this thing from the ground up, 10 times more successful, 10 times more solid, with stronger foundations than what I used to have back in the days that I'm still crying about, like, oh, that was so great, my business before. So as I'm trying to move back, I just sat myself down in 2025. I had no clue where to start. I was so confused. I didn't had any business mentor. I was not investing in any online spaces, mentorship, whatever. I was just by myself being like, okay, what do I do now? And I didn't really know, but I sat down to my computer every day. I forced myself. You know, I use a lot of that terminology, like force, because sometimes you just have to do the things that your body or your mind is resistant to do. So I just forced myself to my computer, and I was writing in my notes, and I started writing, I have no clue what I'm doing. I don't know, but I'm showing up. And as I started writing, things were coming to me. I just had to open the door. But the downloads or the inspiration didn't came by just living my life. I had to like be focused of like, what is it that I can tackle right now? And I started with one thing, and then another, and then another, and then clarity. I knew exactly how I wanted to run my business, the new business model that I wanted to embody, the new strategies I wanted to try, where to focus my energy, what to prioritize. Like it just came by doing, by taking action, by trying things out. And so this is something that I'm trying to even push further now in my life of like, okay, how can I let go of this idea that I need to be perfect, that I need to be aligned, that I need to have the best energy behind it? I see it with one of my friends and past client. She really wants to launch a new offer. It's a great offer. It's like an amazing offer, but I don't know, maybe I will postpone it. And I've seen her postponing it for years now, because you postpone once for a few months, and then again, and then again, and then again, and those months turns into years of the people not being able to enjoy your service or your product just because you don't feel perfect. Truth is, you're probably never gonna feel perfect, and life is gonna happen. Shit are gonna happen all the time. We're gonna get busy, we're gonna get low, we're gonna get depressed, we're gonna get, oh my God, we're just gonna get human. And so the more we are postponing the taking action part just because we're trying to take the perfectly aligned action, because that's bullshit we've been fed to in this manifestation coaching world, right? Of like, don't take just random actions, take aligned, perfectly aligned action. No, just take action. They might not be aligned at first, but the only way to find alignment is to take those first action that are misaligned so that you realize they're not in alignment. So then you bring yourself back. The only way to know, the only way to master is to do. In the doing. It doesn't mean you're going to do it just in this very boring bro kind of just show up stupid thing. You want to bring your heart and your good intentions into it. You want to bring your feminine energy, your creativity into it, but you still get to move. I'm thinking about all the women that need my friend's offer and that are just waiting. They're just crying in their rooms about their problems, waiting for someone that speaks their language to help them, and she's just not providing the service that is good enough. But because she's deemed her energy not good enough, not aligned enough, like she needs to be 100% embodied, 100%, like no, who really is 100% embodied? Yes, for some period of time, for a month, but everyone gets some stuff going on at some point, right? So I've seen it, and I have a lot of admiration for those women that have run businesses through breakup, trauma, like, and they just show up with so much integrity. Not everyone is like that. And so we just need to find a way to keep on showing up for ourselves and our dreams. Also thinking about our clients, our customers, the people that we are helping with our product or service. Let's move to point number 3. This one is tough love coaching will get you further than therapy. This one also is from a conversation I had recently where we were playing with ChatGPT. And there's this thing of like, tell me what I need to hear. Just straight deliver the truth. ChatGPT gives you an answer. I've seen my answers to what I ask, and I've seen another friend's answer, and it was literally like all we want to hear. And we know ChatGPT works like that. ChatGPT will always go in your direction because it's a mirror of what you put in. So the output that you get is like what you put in. And so I was seeing like this and I was like, this is not really helpful. Just someone agreeing with everything and being like, oh, poor you. You're so stressed and overwhelmed and whatever. Then I was like, you know what? I feel like you're telling me all that I want to hear. Can you actually tell me the hard truth? Can you call me out on my BS? Can you bitch slap me? And trust me, the answer was so much greater. And I feel like all of my coaches that I really respected that actually got me results were the people that could tough love me. And this is also how I coach because I don't know how to do any other way. This is also what I do with most of my friends, family members, just people that I love and care about. I have this very tough love energy. Like it's all coming from love, but sometimes we're caught up in our excuses, in our bullshit, in the things that keep us small. Like I am the first person to be caught up in my own shit. I am the first person to be caught up in my insecurities, in my excuses, in the things I don't see. So that's why when I say coaching, it can be through ChatGPT, be through an actual coach, it can be from a friend. You know that you grow a lot more when you have this energy of like being called out, let's say being called forward. Because called out, we're not talking about someone that just like comes into your life and criticizes everything that you do. Because I know what it's like. This is not helpful. You need the love aspect, not just the tough. You need the tough love. But if you have someone that is always like, oh, poor you, you're already doing so much. Like, oh my God, like just watch how far you've come. Like, yes, gratitude, appreciation for the journey, celebrate who you are. 100%. But also we have so many blind spots. This is why we hire a coach in the first place. This is why we go to get advice to our friends. It's like, tell me what you see that I don't. So instead of looking for someone to emphasize with you, maybe also get that, right? Like we need that. We need support. Get that from your partner, right? Your partner is supposed to give you support and love and this energy of just love and support and not advice because your partner is not supposed to be your coach. But then you go to maybe a friend or, as I said, ChatGPT or an actual coach, because then you get access to your blind spots. You get information, you get valuable information about what you don't see. You get a good feedback. So there is a way to do that. But I feel like when we're stuck, when we're overwhelmed, maybe we need a period of time where we just get the support and someone to be like, poor you. But if we want to pierce through that bubble, we also need someone to be like calling out on our bullshit, our excuses, and what we could do to improve. The thing is, major disclaimer here, don't go to just any random, right? Don't go to your random friend who has not accomplished what you want, doesn't share the same values, or just find someone you can actually trust that has the kind of life or the kind of personality or the kind of value that you want to embody. It doesn't mean the person is necessarily going to be like 10 steps ahead of you. This is more of a professional coaching if you invest in someone. But when you go to a friend, for example, just make sure this is someone you can trust with something as important. And also, always come back to your truth, right? If someone is calling you out on your bullshit and you feel like it just doesn't resonate, it's not true, or this person is just lacking empathy and compassion, then it's not the right thing. But what you can do is ChatGPT if you want to go for the cheap route on that and already get this thing. I think being like, oh, tell me what I need to hear, just give me the straight truth. This is a nice trend, but let's create another trend. Like I really legit said, I prompt ChatGPT saying, call me out on my BS and give me a bitch slap. And that was so good. I did it for my business. I did it in my personal life because ChatGPT knows so much about me. So this is a more trusted, meaning that ChatGPT probably doesn't have like, I don't know, envy or jealousy like some friends they can have, like even if it's subtle. Anyway, that was just a side note. My point was maybe go and look for that tough love coaching for someone that can see what you don't see and your blind spot, because what you can't see probably is the thing you need to move the needle forward. Now, point number 4, you are probably not selling enough. So first, I think we need to talk about what is selling and what isn't. When I say you're not selling enough, I don't mean you're not publishing your super beautiful Canva template saying, this is the offer, start at this date, or it's this price. Like, this is not what I mean. And I'm not either referring to just having one line at the bottom of a caption saying, join my program, or join my coaching, or book a massage, or book a photo shoot, or any call to action that is related to your industry. When I say you're not selling enough, it means that we have this tendency to think that because we're creating so much, because we're talking so much about our offers, that we're selling them because we talk about them. There's a difference between talking about something and selling something. Selling means that you have the solution to a problem. So selling means I see your problem and I'm here to fix it. I have the solution. So it's like giving awareness, problem awareness, solution awareness to your ideal client, being like, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you who goes through this, and this, and who wants this, and that. And I'm here. I'm the solution. This is selling. This is talking about your offer in a way that sells. It's not just saying like, this is what I have. It's amazing. Sign up. Because that is not selling. That is just promoting. This is not even promoting. What is it? It's just talking. It's just talking about your offers. And I feel like sometimes I see when we do those business audit of what is missing and how we can improve the way we're showing up and the content and everything. It's more about, we feel like we're talking so much about it. We feel like we're so redundant because it's our own little bubble. But from an outside perspective, from someone else, like, you are bombarded with so much information anyway. So you will have to see the same thing over and over and over and over and over again until you know, oh, this person is this. So the way to hack that, to have a faster awareness of your offers or your product or your services is, to mention them all the time, but not as in like, hey, cool, this exists. But in a way of like, I'm talking to you and you need to be talking to your clients. But I'm going to talk a little later about that. I think point number 4 and number 5 is very connected, and I cannot talk about point number 4 without number 5. So the point number 5 is, let's talk about the truth about pain points. Because when I say selling, we usually tend to get advice from the bro marketing of like, press on pain points. What is happening if they don't fix this problem? What are they struggling with? And I know it's became really trendy among the more feminine business owner thing to say, I don't sell into pain point. I sell into pleasure points, because if you sell from pain points, then people are going to come from pain. And I think there is a good way to do it and a bad way to do it, like everything else. But pain point isn't about just pressing on the pain, right? It's more of a empathy, compassion of like, I see you. I know what you're going through. I have compassion for you. I know exactly what you cry about at night. So I think this is something really from the heart that we can do, right? Some people are afraid of that, or some people just want to not do that just because they think they're better than anyone else, which I get, because I had the same thing. I was preaching not selling into pain points without realizing that, first of all, I was traumatized by the first time I was sold to, and I had no awareness of the business ways of doing things. I had no awareness that it was a thing, and I was in a very vulnerable space, and I felt extremely manipulated. So I feel like a lot of people don't want to be that, don't want to be manipulative, don't want to just use the pain in order to make money, because that sounds very shady and nasty, and that's not what we do when we run soulful businesses. But also some people, they just, again, think they're better, and I was the same. If you look back and you scroll back through my content, I have a lot of content around that, like just sell into the pleasure so that you invite them into the next level, so that it's from desire. And yes, this is more of a premium positioning anyway, and you want to do that. You want to call them into their next level. You want to call them forward. You want to improve their lives with what you're selling. But I think pain point can still be useful. if it's used in a chill way, like not in that I'm super nasty, I'm a shark and I'm just gonna, no, like just do it with heart. But when you see someone and you're like, I see your struggle and I'm gonna make your life better. Let's talk a random example. I sleep on a silk pillowcase because I love my skin and my hair to look good. So it's both a pleasure point and a pain point, right? It's like, I don't want to have my hair look like shit and I don't want to have breakouts on my skin. So I would rather put my head at night on silk, which is antibacterial and has all this benefit, than sleeping on polyester or cotton or anything that is more like irritating. I'm not sure I'm using the proper vocabulary, but who cares? If the person selling me a pillowcase had no awareness of the fact that I don't like, it's not a huge pain point, right? It's not gonna change my life. It's not gonna break my heart, but it's still like something that annoys me. It's still something, it's a problem. It's a problem that I want to fix. So if the person is saying like, hey, this is your problem, here is how I fix it, then I'm like, oh, you feel me, you get me, you're an expert. Like, you know what you're talking about. And if someone is just like inviting me into my next level, being like, blah, 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 it's inspirational. But all I hear is bullshit, right? I want someone who knows exactly what I'm going through to help me with my problems. And so how is it connected to selling? People are afraid of selling because it puts you out there. I get that. I used to be the woman, and I'm still fighting that in my content of like putting the last sentence, like, hey, I have this offer, join if you want, or just talking about something. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm going to mention it in my podcast, and if people are interested, they're just going to reach out to me. No, we need to do the work for the clients to have the least possible amount of effort to join our programs. It's just when I just started coaching, and my coach at the time, she said, I was just starting my business, and I was like, oh, if people want one-on-one yoga session with me, because I was a yoga teacher, then they will just reach out and ask for it. And she was like, what if you actually had like, hey, this is what I offer. Like, if you had an offer and you put it out there and you're selling it, like, people are more inclined to just, yeah, that's what I want, and claim the seat and claim the thing. And guess what? I just started to do that, and I signed like 6 clients the first day, where I just said, hey, this is the problems I'm solving with my yoga. This is how I'm helping you having a more relaxed, peaceful, flexible life. And I just said that in a random Facebook thing, but I still was offering the things. I was making the offer. I was like, here, you have it. If you want it, that can be yours. And not just hoping that someone sees that I do yoga every day, that I'm a yoga teacher, and suddenly decide to hire me just out of the blue. No, they needed an invitation. Our goal is to make the invitation as irresistible as possible. This is where marketing comes in play. This is where messaging comes in play, of like, how can we be so deliciously irresistible that people cannot help but buy from us? So maybe you're feeling like you're selling all the time, but you're actually not. Because again, it's not because people are going to see your beautiful Canva offer and your beautiful design that they're going to be like, oh, this is what I want. They need to see themselves in the results and the problem that you're solving, like the result that you're getting. Like, if you want this and this and that, then this is for you. Which leads me to point number 6, which is talking to the wrong people and still trying to please everyone instead of just talking to your ideal client. Just talk to her. And the way we talk with our audience, this is something that I really put a lot of effort in 2025, and you probably feel it in my podcast. Like, I used to have this tone of, oh, I need everyone to understand what I'm saying. I need everyone to gain awareness around the topics that I'm talking about. And now in my podcast, like, I feel like I'm with you, my girlies. And I don't care if someone else listens to this. Maybe they're going to gain new awareness or whatever. Maybe they're going to get into the trend that I'm in. But I'm not trying anymore to just please everyone, because you know what they say? They say, if you talk to everyone, then you talk to no one. And I truly believe it's true. I've done enough analysis of other businesses and to see what works on me and whatnot. And I see it. Some people just talk to me. They talk to me, to my values, my belief, the things I really love. They don't try to be so general. And I feel so seen. I feel so seen because I'm like, oh yeah, they're talking to me. Something else that I've seen other people do and that I've done myself too, it's a bit shameful to admit, but it's talking down on people, like you're the teacher, like you're the one who knows everything. And yes, you can position yourself as like, I know what I know and I'm an expert in my field and I know what I'm talking about. But it was hard for me to, again, because if you feel like you're talking to everyone, maybe you're in your head, you're still talking to your high school friends. Maybe you're talking to that friend that you're trying to convince that your work is important or that mindset is important or whatever it is. I know I was stuck in that for a long time. And this is why this podcast is such an amazing place for me, because I'm really talking to the girlies that I want to work with, that I vibe with, my community, my people. And I'm not trying anymore to use a language or to over explain every concept, because I know you're smart, I know you're brilliant, I know you're intelligent. And it's such a relief to finally just talk to the woman that I want to connect with. Because in a weird way, I felt like I was still talking to my high school friends, or I don't know, the parents of my partner, or those people where you're trying to prove and to over explain. They just don't get your feeling. They don't get what you're offering. They're not your ideal client. So stop talking to them. And it doesn't mean you always have to create things for your ideal client. You can do it for your friends too. But your tribe, your people, your community, especially if you're trying to build that kind of business. And finally, the 7 key to 10x your success is selfish business versus client-centered business. What I mean by that is that a selfish business will not get you as far as something that is actually centered around your clients. That is probably obvious to you. You're like, duh. But sometimes it shows up in very subtle ways. Maybe you're too self-centered. We talked about that tough love. This is a moment where we're going to tough love ourselves. So when you're over obsessing about your boundaries and how you want to run your business and about like how your client needs to respect you and how you're not running an offer until there is like 20 girls in it because your time is not worth it. And you're like, oh, I just do like 10 voice messages and I never set my boundaries. This is amazing. This is important work, because I see so many other people running businesses and completely going to burnout because they don't have a sense of boundaries. Boundaries are so important. I'm not telling you otherwise. I'm just saying when it's your primary focus and in the process of building strong boundaries for yourself, you are forgetting your clients and what is good for them and how to deliver the best possible product, then maybe there is a problem. To me, that's a red flag. Our primary focus should be helping, solving problems, and serving the client. It should always be about the results and what we're serving the client without burning yourself out, without having no boundaries. But that should be your focus instead of already thinking 10 steps ahead and being like, I don't do that because I'm that bitch. Yes, you're that bitch. But also you're struggling right now because you are just thinking about yourself. You're thinking about how this business can serve you, and you're not actually delivering something that serves other people. Don't get me wrong. We need a good amount of being selfish. Being selfish in your business is what is going to help you. And by being selfish, I mean doing something that you love and doing things in a way that feels good for you. You need that. You need a lot of selfishness in order to have a thriving business, because if you don't have that, at the first obstacle, you're out. So you need to have something you're passionate about, something that you're just obsessed with, and something that nourishes you and fulfills you, right? It's important. And this is also the energy you're gonna, share with the world and share with your people. So we do really need a dose of selfishness. The reason why we need a good dose of being selfish is because that's what keeps you going when shit hits the fan, when it's hard, when you're faced with challenges. That equally with caring so much about your client results. And if you're here, I'm sure that you're already thinking, of course I care about my clients. But sometimes we're being extremely selfish without even really wanting to admit it, because it's bad. It's not bad. It's good, girl. You want a good life for yourself. But I've seen my clients being like, I don't want to do that. I'm not serving anyone because I have just one person or only three persons sign up to my offer. First of all, we need to start somewhere. So honor this one person that invested their money into your service or your product or your offer. Just have some respect, basic respect, right? For the people who have decided to trust you and who has seen in your offer and your product, have seen in you the pathway to get the results that you're promising them and to also solve a problem. So depending on your industry, that can mean a lot. Like if someone invests in me, in my sensuality offers or my business offers, like it means they trust me with something so personal, so important for them and their life. Like if I'm just like, whatever, I'm not doing it because only one person, only 3 people sign up. If you talk to the bigger names in your same industry that now have thousands, possibly like millions of people signing into their offers or services, they probably started with just one person, 3 people buying what they had to offer, but they gave their best because what they cared about was the result, their journey, using their expertise, their experience to serve others. This is what I'm putting so much energy into this podcast of being like, instead of being ashamed of all the mistakes that I've made, of all the things that kept me stuck, of all the struggle to figuring out and just then showing up when everything is perfect for me, let me teach you. I'm like, no, I'm going to use my personal experience to be of service to you girlies. So first of all, you feel seen and you're like, I'm not alone in this. And then second, so that I can help you with the precious data that I have collected along the way. We still have one bonus point that I want to go through. Before that, I'm going to wrap point number 7. Check where you're being selfish. Check where you're like, oh, I want this business so I can travel, so I can do nothing all day, so I can do this, so I can do that, so I can do this. This is important. Again, I'm not telling you not to have that. Is it your primary focus then? Can you switch your focus? Can you think about the person that you're helping and give everything you got? Because I feel like if this person was physically, it's the thing with online businesses too. If this person was in front of you crying, you would give everything to this person for it to solve their problems, feel better, have an amazing time. If you're selling, I don't know, something that is more like fun and pleasure, like you would want this person to have the most fun, the most pleasure, the best experience possible. And I feel like this is the only way to build something that will be sustainable along the years, because if you build something around your current desires and then you get it, then you're just like, oh, whatever. And you treat your clients like numbers and they're not real people that have invested time in you. So have some respect. Have some respect for the people, even if you have fewer than you expected, even if you have less clients, less sales that you thought you would have, just have some respect for the people who trusted you and trusted in your work and needed you and your expertise and not everyone else. And start where you are. If you give the best value to those clients, they're going to refer you to their friends, and that's how you build momentum. Something I've heard a lot too in the business realm is like the first clients are the hardest to get, and then there's this kind of momentum, because if you do a really good job and you're really good at what you do, people talk. You know, if you help someone glow, their friends are going to be like, whoa, you look so amazing, what did you do? And they're going to be, oh, I work with Lika as a coach and she was amazing, you should definitely go because she helped me so much. Or if they see you like traveling the world and living your best life, they're going to be like, what did you do? How did you do it? And you've been helped by someone, they're going to be like, oh, this is my friend Lika, she does that for a living and she's amazing and she's so good. So that will, have this word of mouth. That was correct the first time. And people will just be obsessed with you. Because if you do a shitty job, people are going to come to you once and they're going to feel it. They're going to feel that you're obsessed with yourself, that you only treat them as numbers, that you don't care about the customer experience, you don't care about this extra care that some companies, they put in their products, even big companies. When you feel treated with more respect, like you definitely build this client retention. And I think this is something that I now start to value a lot. I feel like in the early stages, you just want to sign clients, you just want your business to pop off. But when you're building something with strong foundations for it to last and then scale and then have it for the rest of your life and have this sustainable expansion, then you're start thinking about things like client retention. How can I do my best so that I keep always providing the best? And when you do that, you rush less because you don't care about just you and your little self. You're just thinking about what is best for my client while respecting myself. And respecting yourself is the best for your client too, because if you're completely burned out, who are you going to serve for real? So yes to boundaries, but they should not be your primary focus when you're just starting out or when you're in a phase of stagnation of like, I just want money so that I can travel, and I just want to buy myself stuff, and I just want to finally relax, and I just want to me. Yes, you and your clients. Your client first. How are you helping someone? How are you serving them? How are you making their lives better? This is what we should be obsessed with. I feel like every successful person that I see out there have this thing at heart of like, I'm gonna do the best. And that's sometimes where I go crazy in my mind of like, how do I provide more? How do I add bonuses to my online offers? Or how do I make the client experience the best possible? This is something I'm obsessed with because I love when brands and things that I consume, they do that for me. When I feel really treated like, oh my God, they're so happy to have me. They're actually honored that I trust them, that I bought their product. Sometimes it's not said, when I buy my iPhone, like there is no Steve Jobs. First of all, he doesn't exist anymore. He's not alive with us anymore. But he's not like, hey, I'm so happy you bought my iPhone. This is what I mean, But I don't know. The package is really thought through. They care. You feel like they care about their user experience. You can get it fixed so easily. There is all of this care around Apple. And that's why you go back to your iPhone again and again and again. Anyway, that was such a random example, but I've seen it also in the coaching world. So many people have zero client retention. They work once with them. They have super high priced offers. They work once with a client. The client realizes bullshit. It's fluff. It doesn't actually have them at the center of the business. It's more centered around how this person is getting richer and richer and richer without really caring with what they provide to their clients. They don't really put a lot of thoughts, attention, and care into it. People can feel that shit and they will never come back. And so, yeah, if you have great marketing, you can get away with it and still be successful financially. But is it what we're trying to build? And is it long lasting? I've seen so many coaches starting a business, being successful for like maybe not the first year, but let's say the second year, and they pop off and they're excited. The business lasts 3 or 4 years and then they crash. Because of that, because they have no client retention, because people at some point realize that this is bullshit. Okay, we have one more point to go as a bonus. So it's like the 8th bonus one, which is don't be afraid of data. So what I mean by that, if we want to 10x our success and we go through that checklist of like, okay, I think I could regulate a bit more, be a bit more sensual. Maybe I could take more actions even if they're not perfect. Maybe I could invest in someone to call me out on my bullshit and to help me see what I don't see in a very loving way, in a very caring way, someone that is also equipped and qualified for this, not just a random friend. Maybe I could sell a bit more. Maybe I can talk about my offers in the way that the person that it's serving really recognize themselves in it and they know it's time to buy. Maybe I can use pain points in the way that is in integrity, in a loving way, just as a way to be like, hey, I see you and I love you. Maybe I can start focusing to talking to the people I actually want to talk instead of focusing on all the random people that I'm still trying to convince and people please. And maybe I could use a bit less selfishness in my business and prioritize and rebuild around my clients. And you check all of that and you're like, okay, then we come to the last point. And this is why I put it as like the 8th point to this checklist and like as a bonus one. It's like, don't be afraid of data. I was this kind of person for a long time where I would be posting a podcast episode and being like, this is post, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see if only 3 people listen to it. I just don't want to see. I don't want to see the views. I don't want to see where they are from. I don't want to see what's performing, what's not, because I'm just like hoping and praying and wishing that everything performs well. And I'm so afraid if it doesn't, that I'm going to be disappointed and that I'm going to feel like I put all of this love and effort into something and it just falls flat or it's not good enough. Like I was so afraid of data or to check or to analyze the numbers behind my business, whether it's like number of views, like how something is performing, like where did I lose the client, right? Like on one of my offers, Soft and Surrendered, that doesn't exist anymore. I've launched it and I had a funnel for it and I had like 50 people signing up for the free thing, but I didn't know that until years later that I checked. I was just receiving notifications of like, hey, someone signed up for Blossom and Bliss, which was like the free masterclass before the paid offer. Then they were enrolled in an email funnel and then they were offered a special discount for Soft and Surrendered, who was the biggest offer, the online program. And I was just super happy when someone was signing up for the free stuff, but I didn't actually look at the number and I didn't see where I was losing people because Soft and Surrender didn't perform the way I wanted to. And I was so afraid. I was just so disappointed. I was like, oh my God, I launched something and it flopped again. And I let my emotions and my disappointment get in the way of like being strategic about it. And I think what I should have done instead, that would have collapsed time a little bit more for me, is like being brave enough and be like, okay, I had 50 people signing up and then I lost everyone, which means my conversion between like people are interested, but then why am I losing people? And then I can act on this. Then I can strategize around this. Then I can try different things and try again and get the feedback and get the data. And I see it, I'm not the only one. I see it along my friends. We're so afraid with the emotional parts that comes with the numbers when the numbers are not great. We're so happy to check the numbers when it's growing, right? When your engagement is growing, when your views are exceptional, when you get a reel going semi-viral or a big number compared to usually, you're so happy about that. And you're like, here you want to see the number. But when it's not performing well, we're like, no, I don't see it. If I don't see it, it doesn't exist. And I get it because it's emotional, because we're disappointed, because we put so much heart, love, soul, tears and sweat and blood, all we got into those offers. So I get it, girl, I get it. It's so hard to see that because it's so disappointing, but it's great feedback. And this is also actually a way to kind of separate yourself more from those numbers. It doesn't mean you suck. It doesn't mean what you do is not good enough. It just means something in the strategy, something in the process is not working. And this is how we can tweak and address the real problems. It's just as if you were like trying to heal something and you eat a bunch of things and you're trying a bunch of things to heal your body. And you have this one thing that is making your body sick, but you're so afraid of like tracking and you're like, no, I don't want to see it. But if you knew that you were allergic to, I don't know, onions, whatever, or you don't digest onions. I'm really random example. I'm towards the end of the podcast. I'm really hot and my brain is like half functioning, but bear with me. If the onion is making you sick, but you're eating a bunch of things and you just don't want to see the data. You don't want to track like every time I eat onions, like this is how I feel. This is the consequence of what I'm doing. This data is great feedback. It's great information. It's gold. It's where we can actually improve. So let's not be afraid of this and let's not get caught up in the emotional thing of running an online business. If something doesn't work the way you want, this is great information of there is something that I can tweak. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm gonna go put my goggles in. Goggles, like my glasses, my intellectual, like first class, like A student goggles, and I'm gonna actually see where things are not working, what is working, if I tweak my hooks, my titles, if I publish in this way, if I do that kind of email, is it the emails that is not working? Like you get to the root cause with that curiosity, which also means like you put your emotions aside for a minute. Even if you're a very sensitive girly like I am, we need to separate for a second and get curious. And once you get curious, then it also is a good medicine for the disappointment and the pain and the crying because it doesn't work the way you want. Because it's like, okay, now I need to strategize around this. And I think that's something I wish I've done much sooner. I think I've been so defeated when the things didn't work the way I wanted for so long. I was so emotional about it that it prevented me from actually growing and fixing and tweaking what I needed. Just having the clarity of why is it not working the way I want? Where do I lose my client? Where is it? Where is it? And this curiosity, I think, is super important in the entrepreneurial realm. But when we're so invested emotionally in our businesses, which is also something, I only work with people that are so invested. Our businesses usually is an extension of our story. It's like, I've struggled so much and now I'm helping people not to struggle as much. I'm offering a solution because I have faced problems that no one else could solve except me going through it. And I led myself through that. And now I'm helping others to do it in a way with my unique framework, methodology, or product that makes a real difference because I know what it's like. So we are by default so invested emotionally. That should not prevent us from accessing the data as just it's data. It's feedback. It doesn't mean anything about you, about your worth, about how good you are, about whether you should continue or quit. Like, no, this is just data. Just that. There's no real emotion to it. Valuable piece of information. This is actually gold. So don't be afraid of it. I'm sure this could be an entire podcast on itself. So I'm going to keep it for another day and we're going to wrap up this episode today. I just want to remind you that if you love this episode, remember to send it to a friend or to share it on your social media. That really helps grow the podcast. I'll be extremely grateful if you found value in it. If you're like, oh my God, yeah, I didn't think about point number 3. Also, you can DM me your best takeaways or your aha moments, and you can participate in the giveaway, which gives you a chance to win a 25-minute audit with me by leaving a review for this podcast, screenshotting it and sending it to me through emails or DMs. Make sure you screenshot it before, because otherwise I won't be able to find you. And you can also apply for my high-level business mentorship called Business Activator, where we focus on the 5 pillars to your business, your CEO identity, so that you stop treating your business as a hobby and you can really step into that bad bitch CEO energy. So this is the mindset part, this is the energetical part, this is all of the magic and the woo, but also just the identity shifts. I call it the big shift, the radical shift of like completely shifting your identity so that you position yourself, I am the business owner now. This is also the place where we don't let your insecurities run the show. You are the business owner. We don't want anything to come in your way. The second pillar is the 3 S's, which is sexy structure and systems, which is all of the back end, all of the foundation that you need to run your business smoothly so that you don't overwhelm and you finally have something you can lean on and relax and exhale and know that you have those systems to support you so that you don't get overwhelmed and burn out by something you actually love doing. Third pillar is your unique business model. So this is the blueprint of your business so that your business fits into your real life. So you don't apply a strategy that is not yours and wonder why it's not working for you, because maybe the strategy you're applying doesn't fit your desires. This is not even what you want. And this doesn't fit your level of energy or your current health or your current ability to work or where you're at right now. Maybe you're applying a strategy for someone who already has a community, already has a following, already has like eyes on their shit, when, you know, this is just not the right fit for you. So what we're building and designing is a fit like a glove business model strategy so that it makes sense for exactly where you are at right now and where you want to go, but not necessarily just focusing on where you want to go. Like, where are you right now and what brings you from here to there? And the 2 final pillars are brand positioning, so that you have a brand that looks like you and people recognize that, oh, this is her essence, this is her soul in it. They just recognize your brand. And so that you don't have to have a copy-paste version of someone else. We're leading with your story and your why, so that really you build something that is uncopyable. Like, nobody can copy that. Nobody can copy you and your story and your why and your emotions and the way you do things. And we need to feel that through your brand. And finally is the marketing and the messaging, so that you're putting all of this effort and it actually pays out. It's the selling piece that we talked about. How do you talk about your offers in the way that people feel seen and engaged and then they want to buy from you? What can we tweak in what you're already doing so that you get 10x the results compared to where you are at now? So this is for aspiring business owner or early stages business owner, or what feels like early stages, even if you've been in business for a long time. This will be a very intimate round and the only time that you would ever get access to Business Activator for that level of investment. Even my past client didn't get it for this price, but I do want the right woman in the room. This is application only. All you have to do is send me a DM with the word activate on Instagram and then we'll chat. It's a full resurrection of Business Activator, but this time sharper, wiser, and more strategic, with also infusing all of that sensuality, feminine business, sensuality, feminine energy, all of the spiritual, but also very strategic. And it will be your last chance to work with me through this format. I'm very, very excited to help you and for you to get that support. So again, all you have to do is send me activate in my DMs. Then I will ask you a few questions and we'll see if we are a good fit for each other. And until next week, don't forget to share this podcast, to rate it, to just support it, give it love. It's really important. And I talk to you next Friday. Mwah.